Hello, welcome to Always Yarn First, the podcast that delves into knitting, crochet, spinning, and all things yarn. I'm Lindsay, and I'm coming to you from Little Rock, Arkansas. To stay updated on my latest yarn adventures, you can follow me on Instagram and Ravelry as Always Yarn First. Welcome. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you find something you enjoy and stick around. For returning viewers, welcome back. This is episode 61. I name every single podcast off of a song title that reflects my making or my life or something. And because before my love of yarn was my love of music. All right, so this week's episode is Push by Matchbox 20. Sorry, I'm distracted because my cat is roaming around behind the computer. If you've been here before, he likes to jump up on this china cabinet here. He uses the table to go where I have all my project bags. So I'm trying to let him go up there, but of course then he just turned around and started strutting behind the computer. Anyway, so I've named this episode Push, and mainly because I noticed the other day that I was getting very close to 500 subscribers here on YouTube. So that's super exciting. So I decided to run a giveaway once we hit 500 subs. And I knew what I wanted to give. Oops, sorry, just knocking things over. It's going to be that kind of podcast. It's been that week. So I don't have everything to show you here. However, on my channel, I do a unboxing video every month with Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. on her Sock Yarn Society. And so if you go back and watch the March unboxing video, I am going to be giving away a full March Sock Yarn Society package. So I can show you the yarn because I obviously have the package. And so this is the yarn that comes with. It's really bright behind me, so I don't know if that's a little better. And it will be in this base also. So this colorway is called I Beg Your Garden, and it is on Yummy High Twist base. The Yummy High Twist base is 85 superwash merino, 15% nylon, 399 yards per 100 grams. The whole month was like a garden theme, the I Beg Your Garden. I think on one of my socks I'm going to show I have one of the stitch markers it came with, but it had some seeds in it that you could plant, some plant stitch stoppers for your needles, and it had my pattern of my sock up here, which is the Boots with the Fern pattern. So you will be getting that if you're the winner, but I won't be starting that giveaway till we reach 500 subs. So I ask you, if you have been watching for a while, I would love it if you subscribe. Once we hit that 500 subscription, I will be giving away a Sock Yarn Society. So that's super exciting. Also, one more admin reminder is the Knit All the Small Things make-along hosted on my Ravelry group will be completing the end of April. So make sure you get your finished objects in, and then I will pull a prize in there also. All right, so let's get into the content, and I will warn you, my last podcast, I felt like my mojo was out of control. I was knitting on everything. This week is pretty much complete opposite. Life has kind of kicked me in the teeth this week, and it may be going on for a while. I don't really like to talk about too many personal things, but it has very much been affecting my making. I think there were 3 days I could not do any making. Which is a very new experience for me. I've never not been able to knit. Usually knitting brings you joy, but knitting actually made me sadder when I tried to do it. I'm like, nope, this is not working for me. So hopefully it will get better, but for now it's a little slim pickings. But I do have some things, and I have gotten some things, so I definitely want to show acquisitions. So this week's episode, all we're going to have is whips and acquisitions. No finished objects, no new cast-ons, no goals to talk about this week. I did do a little spinning, but it's on my bobbin on my spinner, so I didn't want to pull it. So let's get into the whips. And I will have timestamps below for those different pages, those different things, so you can skip if you'd like. All right, so the whips. There's two things I've barely touched. I will show just because lack of content, but one of the first things is my Skittles Socks, and they are in a bag by Happy Little Yarn, Amy. And I have completed one sock, and I barely got any more done on the second sock. This is the stitch marker I was talking about, that this was one of the stitch markers that was in the March sock yarn, so that will go in that prize. But I love these socks. This yarn is Legacy Fiber Arts Steel Toes Base in the colorway Skittles. I had gotten this in a 50-gram sock set, so about an inch done on that. Next, also about the same amount of progress, although a little bit more because it's a sweater. This is my rocket tee. It is in a bag by Woolly Bean. I just saw Juanita yesterday, the maker behind Woolly Bean. She said that she has not done much sewing, which it makes me glad I have a lot of her bags because I love them. Uh-oh. Some stitches were trying to slide off. All right, so this is the rocket tee. This I have made before as the pattern described with the stripes, but this time I am just making a fingering weight, one color t-shirt. And the yarn I am using is Chelsea Luxe in her Spring Chicken colorway. I love it. So, there's my marker at. Back here. So I've made a little progress. Not much different than the last time you saw it because I'm just working the body. So, there it is. That's where I was. So I'm just working the body. I am not doing the side edge detail. I am just knitting. So, pretty easy peasy. Hopefully, now that I've picked back up my knitting, I have two garments that I'm just knitting pretty much. And so hopefully I'll at least get on one of those because that's pretty mindless, which I'm guessing that's kind of what I need right now. All right, so the other ones I've made a little more progress. These two are the ones that I've just made a tiny bit of progress. Okay. So I will show you what I actually have picked back up last night and this morning. And this I finished last week, but I did finish my first Desert Vista Dyeworks April socks. This is the Viso base and the colorway is Little Women. These are super pretty. So I had finished one sock. I was at the point where I needed to cast on kind of when my mind went dark the other day. And the first day I tried to cast on and tried to cast on and tried to cast on. And I'm like, this is not working. So here's what I've actually made progress in the last couple days. So this is all the knitting I've done this week. So everything else you've seen was pretty much the first week after I podcast. This is it this week. So yeah, but at least I've picked it back up and I'm about an inch or a little under till I can do the heel. So of all my goals that I had for myself this month and then the way the month has turned out for me, kind of my only goal now is to finish this because if you're new, I am doing year-long Desert Vista Dyeworks make-along where Susan, the dyer behind it, hosts it where you have to start and finish a full pair of socks every calendar month with her yarn. And there's incentives along the way. After 3 months, you get a discount code. After 6 months, you get a free skein of yarn of your choice. After 9 months, another discount code. And if you make it the whole year, then you get another free skein of yarn. And she dyes a special colorway that only those who have finished for the year will receive. So I've done it one other year, but this is the last year she is hosting it. So I really want to get this done so I'm not, because if I don't, that's it for the year. So that sock is in my favorite little sock bag by Trappings and Trinkets. And I use my basic top-down socks recipe by me. And I use the alternating cable cast on, and I do have the tutorial linked for that. My favorite tutorial is by Ysolda, and it's a very simple tutorial. And even though the alternating cable cast on is meant for like a knit purl 1x1, she also shows you how to just switch your stitches so you can do 2x2, which is what I do. So yeah. All right, the next one is in my Black Pearl Magic bag. This is the Shimmering Purl. This is a 1 skein shawl. And I did get through the last of the lace section. There is one more little lace section at the end of the shawl, but basically now I'm back on garter. So again, this is hard because it's all, let me hold it where I have my marker. So there's where I was. I think I was just starting the lace last time. There you go. And I finished that lace motif. So I literally am ready to start the garter. So we'll look like the section right below it. And then there is another little lace section, and then there's picots to finish it off. Let me see if there's a picture I can show without showing the pattern. Super, super pretty. So yeah. So that is a fun pattern. I haven't picked it up in a week, but I did get the lace section done. So again, this is another easy, which maybe I was kind of queuing my brain up for having this, that I needed some easy projects. Maybe after this recording and seeing that I have kind of some mindless knitting I can do, I will be motivated and get my mojo back. All right, my last project that I've made any progress on that you've seen before is my V-back tee DK. So this is the one I'm making to coincide with the girls at Arkansas Yarn Co. They are doing this as their Arkansas Yarn Crawl shirt. You can make any version of the V-back tee. I'm making DK, which isn't really great for summer here, but I already have a fingering weight one, and I didn't feel like starting another one. But this one I already had yarn for. So this yarn is Camellia Fiber Co., her Yak DK base, which is 65% merino, 20% silk, and 15% yak. So this one I actually made a good deal of progress on. You can see my marker there. Where does it go? There it is. So I wasn't even at the sleeve separation yet last time. And I have gotten past that. And again, I'm into the easy knitting part. I'm into the body. So, and again, this is called the V-back tee because usually you wear this part in the front and wear the V in the back. But having made this pattern already, it is interchangeable. You can wear the V in the back or the V in the front, and that's how I prefer to wear it. And I probably will wear this one again. This yarn is so squishy and delicious, and I love it. This was one that was on my goal for the month. I was hoping to finish it because what size needles am I using? I'm using US size 9, 5.5 millimeter. So it's flying, and once I got past the sleeve separation, I'm like, this will be good. But because of life, I probably won't get it done, but hope to pick it up again and get a good deal done. I mean, I got a lot done. So yeah, love this. Very, very happy with that. All right, I do have one more thing. It technically is a new-ish cast on. It is a pattern idea I'm working on. And because my brain is just mush right now, I don't know, honestly, if I'll pick this up anytime soon. So I've been working with ideas of different sock patterns. I already had this little orange and blue cuff. I'm going to take off this orange because it doesn't look right with this. I had started like a different idea for a sock pattern and it was not working. I did not like it. So I ripped back just to the cuff and then started this idea. So this idea was actually inspired by my friend Christine. I had gone to Kansas City, which we're going to talk about here next, for Christine's yarn party, which she has at her barn. She is Treasure Goddess. And she had talked about she really wants to come back to Arkansas because Arkansas has where you can go pay a small fee and go digging for diamonds. Anything you find, you get to keep. And Christine's a little bit obsessed with it. Just hearing her talk about it, she has previously done it, spent a couple days doing it, and is just obsessed with the idea of finding basically buried treasure or whatever, which I just think was so cute. And so when she was talking about it and telling us the story, I felt a little bit inspired. So I made this, and this is kind of your typical like diamond shape. You can see the diamonds there. The difference is on the side, I kind of did this little side border. It's kind of hard to see, but it's supposed to be like a side, kind of like chevron, like it's pointing toward the diamonds. So I was on that, and then I actually I'm on the heel right now. That's why it looks so crazy. But then I did a row or a pattern repeat of just the chevrons. And I don't know how I feel about it, like after that. So it's on hold, but I have obviously put a lot of work into it. Did the whole foot of my sock. Okay, so that is all the making I have done. So let's talk acquisitions. All right, so after I posted the last podcast, I was going to Kansas City for the Treasure Goddess yarn party. So I did that and came back with some things. I feel like I was pretty reasonable, so did not get a huge yarn haul. So I feel pretty proud of myself. All right, so let's talk about what I got before the yarn party. So I went up on a Friday, and the yarn party was Saturday. So I went up early because there was some record shops in Kansas City, and so I wanted to at least go to one of them. I went to one really good one called Seventh Heaven. They have a huge selection, and I ended up getting 5 albums. 2 of them were double albums, and I spent $25, which was crazy. So that was super awesome. Christine's husband is a massive collector, so he said that was his favorite. I'm like, okay, then that's the one I'm going to. So I went to there first, and then I did go to 2 local yarn shops. So I'll show you what I got there. So the first one I went to was, I'm looking at my notes here, is Yarn Social. And they had beautiful yarns. I mean, it's a small shop, but they have a little bit of everything from like, I remember seeing embroidery. I feel like there was some cross stitch kits. They had the unspun yarn. They had the big cones of yarn. So it was a very small but mighty shop. There was lots of very beautiful yarns and things. But the one thing that caught my eye is when I walked in, they had beautiful bags in the front window. And do I need bags either? No. But if I'm going to get bags, I really need a few more sweater quantity bags. I always find I'm lacking in the larger bags because, you know, even though we spend money on yarn and yarny things, I find I'm cheap. So I'm like, oh, I want a bag. Oh, I'll buy a small one. I'll buy a sock bag, which I use. But then I'm like, oh, why do I not have any large bags? Because I never buy any. So I bought a bag. It actually is holding my V-back DK. So here it is. And I love it. It is very big. And it says, love it, Amsterdam. I don't think there's anything else in there. There's 2 pockets on the inside. Drawstring. So yeah, it's a very large bag. I have my V-back DK, and you can see how much room I have in here. It is a very large bag. So very, very happy with that. And then I only bought one other thing of yarn, and it's not super typical. It's not a beautiful hand-dyed yarn. They had West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, which I've heard about on other podcasts and seen before, and a lot of people have talked about for kind of like a very workhorse, as you say, sock yarn. So when I saw it, I thought, well, I need another yarn that has kind of like more guy colors for socks. So not super exciting. Try to cover that window. It has, you know, some browns, white, gray tones in it. It is a 4-ply, 75% wool, 25% nylon, 437 yards for a 100-gram ball. And it reminds me, the look and the feel reminds me of an opal yarn, which I have made socks for. They're not the softest socks, but they are very well working socks. They last forever. So I got this one skein of yarn at the first yarn shop. I know, right? So then I went to one other yarn shop, which was Unwind. Trying to get to my notes here. All right. And again, I only bought one skein of yarn. Now, this yarn I have heard about on podcasts, heard people talk about it. It is extreme luxury yarn. Like, I'm never going to make a whole sweater out of this because the money it would take for me to make a sweater would be astronomical. But I really wanted to try this yarn because of all the things I've heard about it. So I don't know what it's going to be. Of course, it would work great in color work because I just have one skein. But I splurged and got a skein of Moondrake Fua Fua. So this is the colorway Sea Spray, and this is 70% brushed cashmere and 30% superwash merino. So very luxurious, very soft. I've heard the girls of Skein Scoop podcast use it and talk about it. And so I decided not to buy a ton of yarn and just get this one and try it, see what the big deal is. But it's beautiful. And that's all I got. Went to 2 yarn stores and got 2 skeins of yarn. So I feel pretty proud of myself. All right. So the next day was the yarn party. And that is at Christine's Barn. So it's pretty much just her yarn except for her BFF, Sarah, who is the sexy knitter, who's also local. She brings like a little, it's not really a booth, but, you know, like think of like, imagine a booth essentially. And so I got something from each of them. And so let's start with what I got from Sarah. So the first thing I got, which I keep knocking over here, I got a blocking head. Look how cool this is. So I love it. It's living up by my sock lockers, but I brought it down so you can see it. So here it is. Isn't she pretty? So I had eyed this on her social media like weeks before. And then she was kind of delayed getting them up. And I'm like, I'm going to need one of those when I see you. So I got one of those first thing. And then I got a cool little stitch marker necklace. So how this works, it's just decorative right now. I mean, you don't have to put stitch markers on it, obviously. But you can. So basically, this is just decorative here. But on the top, you can undo this and put your stitch markers on the top of the necklace right here. Just like this giant safety pin. Take it off and put your stitch markers on, and you're good to go. And then is this the last thing I got? Yeah, I got a Star Wars kitty pin. Cute. That kitty's into the dark side with the yarn. All right, so that's all I got from Sarah. And then from Christine, I also got a couple pins. So I got her logo, their yarn pirate sheep. And then I just thought this one was too cute. What would Dolly do? And so at Christine's party, Marie Green was there. And when she was giving her demonstration, at one point, like behind her, I could see Christine was moving a few things. And I saw this fiber, this color, and I'm like, oh, what is that? And she was taking it out of the room, like into her office. And I was like, where is that going? So immediately, when Marie was done talking, I went to Christine. I'm like, wait a minute, where did that yellow fiber go? I'm going to need to see that. She's like, oh, I wasn't going to sell that. I'm like, I need to see that. So this is it. I got fiber. This is dyed naturally with marigolds. It's so pretty. And I wasn't the only one. There was a couple of these braids, and someone else also had asked her immediately. She's like, I wasn't even going to sell them, and you guys saw me moving them and needed to have them. I'm like, yes, they are that good. They are that good. So don't know what that'll be, but I'm excited to do that. And then I, again, only got one skein of yarn. I didn't have like a project in mind that I wanted to make, anything like that. But I saw this yarn, and this is lace weight, but it's not mohair or surrey. It's just lace weight yarn. So this is called her Silk Treasures lace yarn. This is 80% super fine wool and 20% silk. So this is 100 grams and it's 875 yards. So I don't know what this is going to be, but there's quite a bit of yardage. I mean, it could be a lace tee in this one skein. But I just thought it was beautiful. She just had it in the white in this base. It's so soft, and it's called White Sand Beaches. She also had, I haven't looked to see if this is on her website or she just made these up for the party, but she also had these in 50-gram skeins. So if you only wanted, what, like 430 yards. So love, 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 love this. And I got one of her little bags. Treasure Goddess yarn. So, yes, had such a great time. Met my friend Christy there. We had a good time. We both got sunburned because it was such a beautiful day. And there was, seating inside the barn, and there was seating that was covered outside. But we brought our camp chairs and just sat in the sun. I was enjoying that it was cool enough to enjoy it. And Christy got really burnt. I just got a little burnt on my forehead. But we had a best time. And then that night we got to go out to dinner with Christine and Sarah, which was so fun. So, all right. I have gotten a couple of things in the mail since then. So I also purchased 2 50-gram sock sets from the Tiny Human Knits. I love her sock yarn so much and her stripes. So this is a colorway inspired by this movie Spirited Away. And I love that movie. So love this color. And then the other one she had in her shop is this, which I'm usually not a purple girl, but I've said the one purple I like is like a lilac, like a light, which I love that light purple. So that was super pretty. So these are 50 grams for the main skein and then 20 gram minis. It's 200 yards for the main skein, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. So I got these really fast. So, Canada, if you get packs from Canada, it's like you can't really track it. You just get it when you get it. But I ordered this and she sent it immediately and I got it within the week. So this came crazy fast. And I think as of yesterday, there was still these, but were both available. Because she kind of does short batches with colors. She doesn't have a ton of colors up at any given time. She'll do a certain colorway or certain colorways, put them up, and that's it. So I was happy to snag both of those. And then this week I also got my Gritty Knits All Year Advent Club. So this is the April colorways. If you haven't gotten yours for some reason, you can look away. And there they are. Color 17 and 18. It's very blown out. Don't think there's any way I can get around it. But of course, y'all know I love the bright pink. So this will go into my Anna Zadora shawl. That's what I'm using these for. And then the rest will be just my scrappy basket or in my Wave to the Fans scrappy blanket. So, all right. And that's it. So wasn't too crazy short, mainly because I had those acquisitions. I'm hoping I will get my knitting mojo. I also really want to seam up those crochet squares I had showed a few episodes back and get that project officially done off my hook. So I'd like to finish that, but we're just gonna play it by ear. It's our craft. There's no rushing it. Don't need to force it. I don't want to lose my love of it, so I don't want to make myself work on something if I'm not feeling it at the time. I haven't tried spinning the last week when I lost my knitting mojo. So I don't know if it's all or not, or if I could spin because, like I said, I was spinning previously, like a little over a week ago. I had been spinning and was really enjoying it. So I need to try that too to see if that'll work. But thank you for sticking around if you stayed all the way to the end. Remember, please subscribe. Once we get to 500 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway for the Arkansas Yarn Co. Sock Yarn Society March box. And thank you so much, and I hope to see you again in 2 weeks.